Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go on, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
What's up, guys? We had a lot of topics gushing down. But before we get started with any of the stuff that's dominating the sports world, I have to start with this. New rule for the fashion industry. Shorts, pants, don't care what the dresses, skirts. If it has pockets, the pockets have to have zippers. I'm sick and tired of sitting down and, well, there goes my phone. Well, there goes my wallet. Zipper me up. Let my belongings be secure. Let me be secure in the knowledge that my AirPods aren't going anywhere. They're going to be right here in my pocket. Because I'm sick and tired. The number I'm talking, the only thing really that holds my stuff is jeans. Jeans are the only clothing that is an open pocket that will not allow you to lose your stuff.
Great take.
Hello, Amin.
Hey, Izzy, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine.
What happened today, in particular, that made you have to start the show with pocket talk? I do have an opinion on this. I have a lot of zippered shorts and zippered pants, for that matter. Not a huge fan.
Really?
I really only buy them for flag football, and now those are even outlawed. And
They outlawed the zipper short.
Yeah, they can rip the zipper right off.
Have you ever put your hand in and out quickly of a shorts or pants with pockets in them?
Yes.
Just can cut your hand.
I bet
it just kinda
you're zipped up.
hurts, it's
You're supposed to be zipped up then. That's
Well,
the
then
point.
how can you put your hands in your pockets casually? You
Why
gotta
would
look
you-
smooth
No.
sometimes, right?
This is a you thing, Izzy. I mean, come on, put your hands in your pockets smoothly.
I also appreciate me trying to be inclusive of skirts and shorts for women, but those never have pockets, so you don't have to worry about that.
I know. That was 2 years ago. I did that campaign very briefly. I said, hey, let's get the ladies some pockets in their attire. Can we, fashion industry? There you go. Thank you, Lucy, for demonstrating for the video audience.
You're
Jess
welcome.
was saying that no women's clothing has pockets, but Lucy's wearing shorts that have pockets.
Well, she means dresses and skirts.
They have
No,
dresses
but-
that have pockets now.
No,
But
but when
still,
they
they
do,
don't.
do you see how excited women get when they say, look, it has pockets?
Thank you, Amin.
These are just
And
fun.
they're all small.
These are just fun. Put your hands in kind of pockets. They're not really let me put valuables in these
But
pockets.
Amin wants his pockets zipped up, so he can't put his hands in his pockets. So then it becomes a whole thing.
Once
you
you've
have to unzip your pockets, then put your hands in. And are you protecting things from falling out? Because in that case, you just got your hands in your stuff with a bunch of stuff in your pockets.
I would argue, and as we are both warm weather residing people, it is way more important to secure your phone and your AirPods than it is to put your hands in your pockets.
The feeling you get, I'm with Amin 100% on this. The feeling you get when you got something in your pocket and you zip it up, I
It
just
does
start.
feel
I can do
secure.
this whole hip dance where I'm just swinging my hips.
You can
everywhere.
ride a roller coaster.
Yep.
No
Check
fear.
the pro list, 100%. But the other side of it is,
I haven't experienced the downside of
Yeah,
it.
have you ever danced and then said, "Hey, let me put my hands in my pockets now"? Well, nope. Now you got to unzip and then you got to do it smoothly.
That
so
seems
you don't
very
flip.
specific. Like you just walk down the street and break out in dances, like they
Flash
used to-
mob, like we're
yeah,
doing.
what's happening here?
It's a Chris
You
thing.
have a point. I don't want pockets because I don't want the option of looking awkward with my hands in my pockets. You know?
I have shorts right now that actually are best of both worlds. They have two pockets, but then they also have a zip pocket on the side, as Billy's looking at right now, that I can put something else, like my wallet, my keys, something a little smaller.
Bird
my phone
dogs
doesn't
have
fit.
those. Fan
But I
of
get two
those.
for one.
Like the
Separate
Nike
pockets
like the
with a
Nike
zipper.
Tech Fleece. Nike Tech Fleece has a zipper pocket and then has regular pockets.
Why do you buy
Yes.
shorts with zippers to play flag football?
Because you're not allowed to have pockets at all, right? Because if you reach for a flag and you accidentally stick a finger in the pocket and
Heyo.
pull, it can
Rip
break
your
finger.
shorts.
There have been plenty of incidents of people breaking their fingers, so they allow
not my flag.
zipping up the pockets. But now Now they've outlawed those, at least in my league, for a couple of reasons. One, you can get hurt on the actual zipper, and two, there's no proof that you actually zipped up the zipper. You could have it, opened up and then accidentally have the same injury.
Now, Izzy, can I present to you a different option? You can't put your hands in your pockets. What about the old thumbs in the waistband right here, like a cowboy?
So you don't think you look awkward with your hands in your pockets, or Jess thinks you look awkward with your hands in her pockets, but you don't think you look awkward with your thumb in your waistband. That's totally natural for a female.
How often are you guys dancing?
Authoritative. That's what it looks like. You're like, hey, what's up, guys? You got your thumbs right in the waistband right here, and then the four fingers are flapped out.
That's
right
usually when I'm like trying to take a picture and I'm awkward. Like I'm standing for a photo. It's like, all right, I'll stand and I'll put my thumb in my pocket. It's just I've ruined many a photo, many a group photo.
It's like right here in the waistband.
So, Amin, we actually had a pocket-related casualty at the last wedding that Lehman and I went to.
Okay.
I decided almost, it was really touch and go. I decided I don't want to bring a purse with me. I'm sick and tired of carrying a purse around all night. I'm just going to go in my dress, and that's it. I'm not bringing anything.
I thought you were going to say, I'm just going to have Lehman.
Well, he does carry around my lip gloss for me, but that's separate. So I didn't have a purse, and Lehman didn't have a purse. And so Lehman put his car key. We drove to the wedding, put the car key in his front suit pocket.
Inside?
Inside.
Okay.
Love that pocket.
Love that pocket.
We go to the wedding.
Can't put too much in it, though.
This seems
True.
dangerous because Lee seems like someone that takes off layers when he dances.
Well, he didn't. He didn't. We went to the wedding. We went to the reception. We ate the dinner. The DJ comes on. Great DJ. Dancing, having fun.
Full jacket dancing, huh?
Yes, full jacket dancing. It's like 10:30, 10:45, and we're like, let's go home. Like, that was really fun. We're going to go to bed. We walk out to the car. The car doesn't automatically unlock. That's weird. What's going on there? Lehman puts his hand in his front pocket. Key is gone.
Uh-oh.
No key. We go back into the wedding. Tell the staff. We tell everyone there.
Did you Irish goodbye on the way out
Yes.
the first time?
We were so excited to go home and not say bye to anyone. We didn't say bye to the bride and groom.
I
We
call
just
it
bounced.
an Israeli goodbye now.
It was.
That's my name, Israel.
Oh, I get it.
Oh, my God.
Same.
This show took a turn.
We went back in. We started looking for the key on the dance floor. Couldn't find it. We looked at our table. We couldn't find it. Spent like an hour looking for the key. The staff was like, if you wait until the wedding's over at 1 a.m. when we turn the lights on, I'm sure we'll find it. And we looked at each other and we were like, we're not staying.
We don't want to say goodbye to anybody.
So we had to get an Uber home, and we left the car there. We abandoned the car.
Really?
And the search for the key. At 1:30, someone from the hotel called us and said they found it on the dance floor.
It was in the middle of the dance floor?
It was somewhere. We never found out where it was, but the key somehow jumped out of his pocket because he had the jacket on while he was dancing. And this was Lehman going it was like a 5 out of 10 dance night. It wasn't even a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Well, that would explain the jacket being on, because let's go back to that quickly. Why not take up? Was it a fire jacket? Or, here's my other theory, is Lehman one of those guys, love Lehman, one of those guys that needs the clothes to help enhance the dance moves, right? Like if you're using your jacket.
A little grab
Hold on to the edge of the jacket.
Yeah, you see, you can't, you're naked with your jacket off. You have to be able to dance.
So that's me. I'm the person that needs the clothes. This wedding was handing out shawls as the little party favor. You know, some weddings they have the little flip-flops for women. This one they had the shawl. So I was swinging my shawl around and stuff. Lehman doesn't need props. He's just a good dancer, period. But he didn't take the jacket off. And the key, I swear to God, the key must have just jumped out. Because I never saw it. No one saw it. It just, boop,
I mean, if we're starting the show on Pocket Talk, I've got a traumatic similar story, but, let me know when we want to get
Well,
there.
I don't understand. This is a good DJ, but it was a 5 out of 10 dancing night for Lehman. What happened?
Well, it was our friends, but we didn't know anyone other than our friends. So we were very, very,
No.
Well,
That's the
it's
best
a good place to,
No. If you only know a few people, you gotta tone it down a little.
Here's the thing. Lehman's 10 out of 10 is a lot of people's can't fathom going that hard. So a 5 for him is most people's 10.
Where on
saying.
your scale is starting a conga line? Is that 10 out of 10, or is that a little lower?
Well, we don't really. I've never been to a wedding with a conga line, but we do the hora, and Lehman is always
The what?
The da da na 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 na.
Oh,
Hava
Nagila.
Yeah, exactly. And
Is
Lehman,
that where
Lehman and I lead the charge on that.
Was there a lot of Russian dancing where he
He can do that.
See?
I swear to God, this man's knees.
That's where the keys went out, right there.
Yeah,
A
did you
little
think
squat.
back, retrospect in the night, what move do we think lost the key?
Honestly, I would love to.
Did
love
Shout
to find
play?
out.
Was it in Shout?
There was no Shout. It was all really, really good.
Shout was on my
music.
Do Not playlist.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No
Band
Shout.
Shout.
It's overdone. It's overdone.
A little bit softer now.
A little bit softer now.
Band.
Mm-hmm.
What else was on the band list?
I'm trying to think. Shout was definitely on there. The
Despacito?
Wobble. No, Despacito was not on there. Are you crazy? That
was a banger.
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. I think Wobble was playable. I think that was on the okay list.
Wobble will be on my no playlist if I ever get married because
Oh.
I got an underage drinking ticket once while that song was on, and
What?
it scarred me for the rest of
You know
my
what else was
life.
on there? Sweet Caroline was on there.
Nice,
That was
yeah.
not going to happen at
Send
the
that
wedding.
shit back to
Amen.
Boston.
Nope. That was on
Electric
the do not
Slide
play
was
list.
on mine.
Electric Slide is on
Yeah,
the
I just didn't. I wanted to have one at the most songs where they tell you how to dance. I wanted the people who knew how to dance and actually wanted to get on the dance floor to go do their thing.
I kept my jacket on the entire time, like at my wedding reception, and I think I kept the bow tie on also. Even at the bar after, like I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna look sloppy tonight. I was a sweaty, sloppy disaster, but I was like, I'm not gonna look bad. Yeah, the bar.
Me too.
Yeah.
After my wedding reception.
And I took all of the like light up like foam like sticks that we had. We just handed them out. We walked into the bar with a garbage bag full of those like light up things and just handed them out to patrons. Yeah, it's a fun night at the bar.
The bar is always great after a wedding because you can just walk right over.
Yeah.
We get married at the same place.
Did we marry each other?
I
Izzy-
definitely need to go to a wedding with Chris Cody.
Izzy, question. Electric Slide, the song is banned, not the dance.
No, the dance is okay.
The dance is
If you
okay.
can figure out that dance to another song, go for it.
Okay, so you remember the infamous all-employee meeting, all-talent meeting at ESPN, the one right before the world ended for us?
Oh, yeah, I remember it. I remember when John Skipper came to me and said, I'm really looking forward to where your career goes.
Dude, man.
I do believe you will have a nice long career.
The
here.
number of things that happened
Then
in
we
the
weren't
weeks
working together
leading
anymore.
up to that was just like, oh, man. Like, it's
Israel?
It's really about to take off. And then everything changed 5 days later. But did you go to the karaoke? You weren't there?
I did not.
Oh,
I
man.
did not.
This was like, it was
Nobody
a
invited
legendary
me, but I
night.
did not.
It was a legendary night, man. Look, if Gojo found a way to the black karaoke party, then.
I'd heard about it. I'd heard a lot about it. Did not go.
But one of the things that happened was for karaoke, I did cameo Candy and impromptu. The entire bar starts doing the Electric Slide. I've never felt more.
It's electric.
Oh my God, it was incredible. Dun, dun, dun,
We
dun,
have
dun.
to have a show field trip to that karaoke room where it's like just 20 people and 4 mics and you just kind of go.
You know what I don't like about those places is oftentimes the mic they give you has a stupid ass reverb on it. They don't give you a regular mic. Am I right, Lucy?
Very picky you
Yes,
are.
these were very popular in LA, and we used to go all the time. And they do a good job of soundproofing. Like in between songs, you can hear the other room, but it always has that little echo.
I don't like the reverb. I want the pure microphone sound. That's why I like karaoke places where it's general public. You got people, and you got to perform to people who don't know you.
Yeah, don't assume that I need the microphone to fix my vocals.
Yeah.
Just let me either perform as well as confidently as I can,
Entertain.
or let me bomb and have everybody sort of look the other way, and I can't wait till this song's over. That's the worst feeling, is when you hear your voice for the first time and recognize, ooh, that's not what I remember sounding like.
It's the worst part is when you have a song that you think you can do, and you realize you
Didn't
can't.
work. Yeah, it didn't work.
That's
that way.
terrible.
What
Have
was
you?
this?
oh, sorry. Have you guys ever left a karaoke bar because someone's song choice was so bad?
Oh my God.
The song choice,
Yes.
not the song execution.
Both.
Okay.
I've never left because of execution, but I've left because of choice.
I've left because of choice.
Yes,
Someone
someone at a karaoke bar we went to decided to play a 10-minute Taylor Swift song. You should never be allowed. Yeah, 10 minutes
Sorry about
all
that.
too well. Absolutely miserable. You don't get to hold me hostage for 10 minutes.
Purple Rain. Someone's tried to do the same thing. It's like this song is too long. You can't do that. That's illegal.
I have a good karaoke story about Charlotte for Amin. On my 25th birthday, Charlotte and Lehman and Priya and I, all my besties, we went out.
My friend Priya.
Lehman and I weren't even dating yet. We went out to a karaoke bar, and we were having so much fun. And they came out and they were like, "Okay, we're starting karaoke. The only rule is no good singers." And we were like, "Haha, that's great!" Like we all suck at singing. So Charlotte was like, "I'm gonna go first," and she went up and she sang a Cher song. And like she's very normal at karaoke.
I
It
was
wasn't like particularly terrible, but like she's
Extra
not
average.
She's not belting.
I
it.
was hoping that you were going to say, then she would say, I'm terrible, and then she picked up the mic. It sounded like a mixture of Fergie and Jesus.
Well, so Charlotte goes up and sings Cher, and we're all like, oh, having a good
Do
time.
you believe in love?
No, I think it was Turn Back Time. Is that a Cher song? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Okay, it is.
Judges.
So,
Yep.
so then Charlotte sits down, and the next person goes up and is the greatest singer I've ever heard in my life. And we were like, whoa, okay, we thought there was no good singers here. And then the third person goes up, just kills it. So good. And then we realized we were at karaoke for like off-Broadway singers. Yeah. And so Charlotte went up there and had no idea and just like sang her song to all these professional singers. This man goes up and sings New York, New York, and literally he sounds like Frank Sinatra. We were all just sitting there like sinking into our chairs.
So did any of you all go up?
I went up.
Okay, I was about to say you guys
up.
should have all been like, let's go somewhere else.
I went up, and then Charlotte and I went up together again. We were by far the absolute worst singers these people have ever heard. It was so much fun.
I've been to karaoke in L.A. off Hollywood Boulevard. Never again. Because it was like everyone who's like looking to get signed. And I'm like, hey, go find a cover band or some shit, man. This here, this is for us. This isn't for you people.
I did that one time in LA, and I had the exact same experience, and it happened immediately when I realized, oh, they'll let you do any song. And then I saw a white dude go up, and I heard Snoop Dogg. I heard Gin and Juice come on, and I didn't even remember the lyrics right away. I said, nope, not here for this. I'm out of here.
I was really feeling it.
Yeah, sorry.
Chris
It was
quiet
Chris.
today.
LeBron re-signed. Back to karaoke.
Oh.
When I go to karaoke bars, I always get hammered. I get so drunk, and I will go up to every singer after they're done and be like, "You are the best I've ever heard. You should really try to do this professionally." And they're like, "Thank you so much." I'm like, "It was the voice of an angel. You are so amazing."
There's one song that, depending on how much I drink, I'm either out of there based on the song choice, or I'm singing it loud as anybody. And it's American Pie, Don McClay. Get out of here if I'm not drunk yet, and you're picking that in a karaoke bar because it's sad, it's depressing, nobody wants to hear that. But get me drunk, I'm yelling louder. I'm getting close to the mic with the guy and trying to sing it just as loud as he does.
Have you guys gone to a bar that has a cover band taking requests from the crowd, right? You know what cover bands hate covering? Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. So anytime I'm at a place, I'll yell, "Freebird!" They're like, "Buddy, we're not playing Freebird. Stop yelling it."
It's like people keep requesting Wonderwall.
It's like in Wayne's World where they're like, "No Stairway to Heaven" at the guitar store.
You know what? I've never seen Wayne's World. Saw Wayne's World too.
Wow. Welcome to Aurora, Illinois. Not just a place, but a state of mind.
Swing.
It's one of those things. It's like I've never seen any Fast and Furious movie other than Tokyo Drift. It's the only one I saw.
Huh.
It's just a blind
You're
spot.
wacky.
No, it's just a blind spot. I don't know. Like I've never felt the need to watch any of the other. I watched it when it came out. That's why I watched it. And the reason I watched it when it came out was because I accidentally walked on the set
What?
of Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, you told you were like in Cleveland
I was
for an
walking
All-Star
in downtown.
game.
No, that was the other Fast and Furious movie. I refused to watch that one.
Wait,
But,
so you were in another Fast and Furious
yes.
movie that you refused to watch?
I've been
Stumbled upon
Hold on a
two
second.
Fast and Furious.
Were you in Tokyo for Tokyo Drift?
shot in downtown Los Angeles.
Okay. All right.
a
Hold
SAG
on a
card?
second. Exactly
Should.
right.
I feel like I could say that about most movies.
You're an extra in 2 Fast and Furious movies, according to you.
Wouldn't call myself an extra because I wasn't on. Both times they yelled at me to get out of the shot. So
Well, were you walking through the street? Like maybe
Yeah.
they're telling you so you don't get hit by a car.
no, I was walking down the sidewalk and they're like, "You're in the shot." I'm like, "Shot what?" And I
He's
was wondering why.
Hold on a second. So you're walking around and like fake cowboy Brian, whatever his name is, in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift is there, like the replacement for Paul, whatever his name is. Paul Walker, yeah.
Oh,
so
Jeep.
you're walking through and fake Paul Walker is like spitting lines and you're like walking through the shine like, can you please move?
No, it was first of all, it was downtown LA, and they replaced all the street signs with Japanese signs, and I thought that was kind of weird. But I said maybe I'm in Japantown or whatever. So I just kept walking, and then like
I don't think it's called Japantown.
Little
No, it
Tokyo, whatever.
Well, I call him Paul whatever, so.
There you go. And then like the cars come around the corner.
Rest in power.
And they're drifting and stuff, and then like cut. I'm like, oh, they like get out the shot. I'm like, well, you should have had someone stopping foot traffic. Then again, like 10 years later, or however many years later, I'm walking through downtown Cleveland, and I saw an NYPD squad car, and I was like, you look at these guys using up taxpayer money to come out to the NBA finals, and you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. And then I walk a couple more blocks, and it's like a massive pileup. I'm talking about like 14 cars on top of each other, and like there was a NYPD motorcycle at the top, and it was on its side, and its lights was going. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst accident ever. I need to call 911. And I'm like, why isn't it? Have they already come? What's going on? And then someone said, you're in the shot. I'm like, oh, again?
So Amin is effectively that guy or girl that you see at every NBA halftime with Mike Breen and Doris Burke right in between them. But you're like, oh, wow, I'm on TV. Look at that as they go by. That's Amin, except the Hollywood version of that.
And not knowing that there was a camera. So, like, I'm picking my nose or something.
I think that's the one that they just had cars somehow, like, launching out of the size of parking garages.
Yes.
I can't imagine how traumatic that must have been if you walked by at that moment where cars are just flying out of parking garages.
Okay, when we used to work at the Clevelander, I was walking one day from the Clevelander to like Alton Road, and all of a sudden I heard gunshots next to me, and I literally jumped like 10 feet in the air and like ducked. And the Miami police, I jumped. And then I ducked. I was
jumped 10 feet in the air while ducking.
Alarming.
That's impressive.
It was terrifying. It was like right next to me, and I turned, and the Miami Police Department was doing a demonstration for little kids, like next to me, and they didn't even have the sidewalk marked off, and I was like, seriously, like
a demonstration.
Yes, they were like shooting at each other. I swear to God,
of course, blanks.
It was terrifying, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then I realized it was fake, and I was like, why did they not close the sidewalk? It was terrifying. Like, it fucked me up for days.
I thought you were gonna say Bad Boys like for Life was being filmed.
I would like to recreate Jess jumping 10 feet in the air and ducking
I was Simone Biles.
simultaneously.
I was 12 feet in the air upside down. Like, it scared the shit out of me. It was right next to me.
Like an armadillo, it's just one little ball in the sky.
Sonic the Hedgehog? What was she?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what fell out of your pocket?
My phone when I sat down. It just literally happened moments before we went on air.
You don't have this problem. I am having my keys, the shorts, like these Fabletic shorts that I have, like all the shorts I have nowadays, falling. Like, I can't get out of my car without my keys being in my seat.
I want you to look at the engraving on my AirPods.
Does it say Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are WNBA All-Stars?
No,
that's the other one.
Close.
They're
It
on the way.
says, Izzy, don't lose me. And it has hearts on either side because, of course, the AirPods have feelings.
Yes, of course. These are the fourth pair of iPods that I have owned. I've lost the case one time. I've lost a left
single,
one.
yeah.
I've lost a right one. And then I bought JBLs just because I was like, let me just change my luck. And then I lost the right one of those. And so these came with a lovely message. Every single time it has been from falling out of my pocket. I'll put one in there and put...
Anti-zipper guy over here.
But some of those were with zippered pockets. I just didn't
Impossible.
zip
That's
it up.
crazy.
I
Come on,
didn't
Izzy, what are you
zip it
doing
up.
here?
I
Don't
didn't
deserve
zip
it.
it up. You know, you just sit down, you don't zip up your pockets, all of a sudden, whoops, something falls out.
Just put it on a keychain. And
But
it's
then you
nice
lose-
because when I
Well, I'm a
lose my
janitor.
keys, I can track my AirPods, and then I find my keys.
We're moving away from those, right? Like, aren't we having a movement to go back to like wired headphones?
I only
I
wear
see
wired.
a lot
wear
of people do
wired.
that.
I-
Why?
Well, not all the time, but like if I'm on a flight, I might, or if I'm just doing something where I don't need to have my phone somewhere else. It's just, I don't know.
You
it's
can
just
fall
easier.
asleep without fear of it falling out of your ear.
Yeah, but the
and losing.
radiation
They don't run out of battery.
situation,
I saw a
think is-
video
I'm
that
a little
Tony,
worried about it.
you're gonna like. I saw
I've
this
seen
video.
it. That's why I don't wear them.
You've seen radiation?
No, I've seen them use like a radiation like monitor, and they go over the AirPods and like. And
I
I'm like,
saw this
"Ugh."
video you're gonna like. I saw it as like a chiropractor or a doctor of some sort, and he had a guy and he was stretching his neck while wearing his smartwatch. I'm not gonna say the name so I don't get sued. So he's wearing his smartwatch with an Apple on it, and he starts twisting his neck, and it can only go yay far. And then he takes it off, and the guy's neck almost did a full circle. It moved so much, it went like all the way down here, and it was down by like his chest because he took off the smartwatch.
What
And
does that tell you?
He said there was some sort of electromagnetic something on that watch that stops his neck from moving.
Tony.
And I thought of you immediately.
EMFs?
Tony, you afraid of radiation?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, let me tell you a little story about a guy who was exposed to radiation and became the most powerful being ever. His name is Bruce Banner. Don't talk to me about radiation.
Feels like a different kind of radiation.
I
Though.
don't know. It's all radiation.
Gamma rays and whatnot.
They're all raised. There's radiation. So Izzy, it was a nice couple of weeks, maybe a week, where we were hearing LeBron's going to take less so they can have that full mid-level and all the trappings under the aprons and everything, and the Lakers are going to be able to do big moves, go get big names, and then everybody signed somewhere else within the first 48 hours.
Was that just for Klay Thompson, supposedly? Or was that for anybody? Because he obviously went ahead and took the extension, which is the news you're talking about,
yes,
without taking a discount after
discounts.
a day or two after Klay Thompson commits to the Mavs.
Klay Thompson was one of the names. Jonas Valanciunas was one of the names. And I think the third name was DeMar DeRozan, who's still available, but I guess LeBron said, nah, never mind.
What did you guys think of Michael Thompson going on with Frank Isola and saying, hey, don't congratulate me. I wanted Klay to be a Laker.
Oh, no, that's the most authentic Michael Thompson. That's how he is. He's always super blunt about things like that, and specifically wanting Klay to be a Laker. Like, as long as he's a Warrior, he's like, this is great, but he's like, I hope when he's done playing for the Warriors, he plays for the Lakers. He's said that for years.
I feel like I'd be like, Dad, come on, please, don't do this.
Well, you think it's like a distraction? People in Dallas are going to be like, oh,
I'd just be like, can you support me like a little bit instead of coming out?
I'm going to tell you something. Michael Thompson is very much the immigrant father. It's like 100%. He still treats Klay like Klay's a kid, like his kid, like a child in his house. Klay, if you guys remember this, Izzy? His first couple of years, his salary went to his parents and they gave him allowance.
I did not actually know that.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite Klay stories. Like
at what age?
Like his rookie year, at least.
Yeah, and he spent, 3 years in school? Right?
Yeah.
So he was 21.
He was 21, but he was getting allowance.
He is he's the most unique NBA personality outside of, the Dennis Rodmans, just kind of, within a couple of lanes, I think, that I've ever experienced. But it's interesting to me that LeBron, because it was 2010 was the last time he took a discount, right? He said when he left, he's going to take the max forever. He's never taken a discount again. And he was going to do this just for a maybe of a Klay. None of those names that you said, oh, that's going to push them over the top for a championship. So it would have been it was an interesting conversation when I saw it.
For LeBron, I guess he felt like those were names that were worth taking the discount for. The discount is a little different. Back in 2010, it was just so they could have enough money to pay, I believe, Mike Miller and Udonis Haslem. Which, again, I could see why he was like, I'm never doing this shit again.
Right. That was Dwayne Wade supposedly convincing them all to do that.
This is different, right? This wasn't about having enough money to pay someone. It's about the Lakers being at a payroll where things are not taken away from them, because now the new collective bargaining agreement, the higher you go with your payroll, you begin to lose the ability to do certain things like engaging in any sort of sign and trade. And if you keep going and going, you go to where the Clippers were headed, which is draft picks are frozen. You saw the Knicks having issues, or still having kind of a question mark how that Mikal Bridges deal is going to ultimately get done, because if they accept more money than they put out, then they're going to be hard capped at the first apron. So there's all these things now. It's less about players, hey, leave a little money so that we can pay so-and-so, or so that the franchise isn't paying a crazy luxury tax, and more about, hey, do you want better players? The only way we can acquire them is if we have these tools available.
So this has always sort of bugged me a little bit with LeBron, especially on the back end of his career, where we are now. The idea of, if you're going to even suggest I'll take a small discount, why not go all in? And I understand, financially, it doesn't make any sense to give up millions, and anybody will tell you it's an idiotic decision. But are you not making more on the back end if you do create a super team, get all this attention again, win another championship, and then, after that, you're talking, you can probably quantify it different ways, but making that money back. Why not just take a full discount, make a $5 million a year type of deal?
I think for players, because the idea is that your window of earning is so finite. And I know LeBron kind of flies in the face of that.
Exactly.
But for everybody else, it's like, dude, I have this much time to make as much money as possible for the rest of my life, my children's lives, and hopefully my children's lives.
But I'm talking about this one guy.
This one guy, maybe. But also he feels like he sets a standard, I think.
Is it kind of like when Tom Brady was like, oh, what if you just give Tom Brady $1.2 million or whatever the league minimum is? But doesn't that mess up with the CBA?
The Players Association doesn't like it for sure. They're like, your
best player's taking nothing.
Yeah, but it's different in basketball, because in football, if the best quarterback in the league signs at a number, that's the standard, right? Whereas in basketball, we have an actual maximum salary. So just because LeBron takes less than max doesn't mean anyone else has the negotiation privilege to say, okay,
LeBron sort of set his own precedent in so many different things, right? The homegrown guy, he just won his championships elsewhere and came back and now doing it with a third team, right? Nobody ever did that. Nobody did like the big three thing the way he did it in particular. Nobody did hey, I'm now playing with my son. Nobody's manipulated the NBA for his benefit more than anybody than LeBron James. And so you are the unique one. You are the one whose earning potential is never going to end. It's not going to end after your playing career is over. You're the only one who's in that conversation with Michael Jordan where another championship might do it for you. Another two, if you're really good with this, might absolutely do it for you. You are the only, like maybe Victor Wembanyama in 15 years might be able to pull off something like this and justify it, but LeBron would be the only person where even if I'm the Players Association, I'm just like, you know what? That's a good move. I'm not mad at that.
Technically, Tim Duncan did it in San Antonio. Dirk did it in Dallas. Kevin Garnett did it in Boston. But those were all, well, I guess he's old too. They were all in this stage. So I don't know. And also, I think that was more about keeping their own guys and getting fresh guys, which is what LeBron was trying to do. One of the guys that has been linked, obviously, is DeMar DeRozan, who is an L.A. native. But DeMar DeRozan has other ties. Chris, do you want to bring us up to date?
Barry Jackson in these streets saying the Heat are interested and that DeMar has interest.
I mean, it's a nice fit, man. Again, what we talked about yesterday was the idea that Miami, for whatever they've achieved over the last few years, the one constant is they've been awful offensively. In the half court, awful offensively overall. They just don't generate points easily because they don't have a guy that, if you guys remember 2 years ago when I said Boston is clearly more talented than Miami. Miami just has to win by execution. And Will Manso and the rest of the rabble-rousers on the internet said, what? How can you say they're more talented? I said, dude, because they can run their plays, mess up their plays, and still have a guy say, I got it. And you can't. Miami does not have that. And so DeMar DeRozan kind of provides something like that, no?
He also plays.
Yeah. Is that interesting? Is that important?
I'm saying, like, Jimmy misses games. DeMar, I believe, played like 70-something games last year. I think that those two things, like a bucket getter and just being there, I think it's a perfect fit.
Don't you think they fill kind of the same role, Jimmy and DeMar, when they're kind of on the floor at the same time? You don't want a guy who is going to be a lead scorer for you, also do the exact same things that your other lead scorer does?
So a couple things on that front to me. And it's funny because I'm making this comparison to like a Tyler Hero. Because when Tyler lines up against somebody, you're like, man, I hope this works out. When DeMar does it, I just look at the defender because that defender's in hell. It is so difficult to defend that guy in the mid-range. It is way different than a defender looks at Jimmy Butler, maybe not Drew Holiday. Jimmy Butler, when he's lining you up, he's like, oh, if I play good defense, I'm probably going to stop this guy. Maybe he'll get a phantom call. DeMar is so skilled in the individual, in the one-on-one, in the mid-range, at drawing fouls. He's the type of guy that puts 10 eyes on the ball at all times, and then if he makes the right pass. I actually think, and this is not just because he shot 41% from three last year, Jimmy Butler, I think you can give him more responsibilities in the half court, DeMar DeRozan, and let Jimmy play off the ball. Because, there's a lot of people saying they're kind of very similar, yada, yada, like Tony just said. But I do believe that if you give DeMar the responsibilities on the Heat in the half court set, way more potential for success per play than with Jimmy.
I think I agree. And by the way, Jimmy, this is what Jimmy wants. He doesn't want to have the ball in his hand. He's even in the 60 some odd games that he plays. How many games do we see where it's like Jimmy's doing this thing to start the game, and it's like, oh, they're losing. Jimmy, you need to save it. It's like, fine. And then he goes and he gets like 6 fouls in a row and gets to the free throw line and saves the day, or sometimes doesn't. And so, to me, if anything, he should welcome the lift of the burden off 100%. Of all that by having someone who comes in there. And DeMar's like, he's not, sometimes you get a guy who does those things skill-wise and production-wise, but it's kind of a son of a bitch in his attitude. Mm-hmm. DeMar's a nice guy, man. He's a great teammate. Everyone loves playing with him. Everyone respects him.
Drake thinks that.
Who?
Drake. Aren't they on the outs right now? I mean, he was at the Kendrick thing.
Hey, man, look, let me tell you something. That dude, you know where DeMar's from? He's from the thick of it.
From L.A.
Not just L.A. He's like the thick of that stuff. Yeah,
Drake wasn't surprised to see him there.
No way. Look, if I was
Because
Drake,
the internet was like, oh, he's boys with Drake.
dude, if I was Drake, I would have picked up the phone like, yeah, you need to be at that concert, man. Like,
Westbrook was the one who was more surprising.
really?
I mean,
He's from the
DeMar
thick of it,
DeRozan
too.
is name checked in the song. Like, of course he had to be there. But Russell Westbrook,
I think, well, no, I think these guys are very LA guys, though. They're very LA guys, right? From, quote unquote, the thick of it.
I also don't see a lot of Westbrook-Drake connection, right? I see the DeRozan connection, but the Westbrook-Drake one,
I just see
don't know.
Westbrook-Taylor Swift connections, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, this is when Taylor Swift comes out with a West Coast anthem, maybe Russ will be there to lead the charge as well.
Did you see KD with Drake in the picture with the hookah?
No, but like that could have been from anywhere at any time.
I think it's
KD,
very current.
Drake
There it is
with a
right
hookah.
there.
I'm glad you asked this question because I follow Drake. I follow all these guys, celebrities on Instagram. And I go to the comments on Drake's posts a lot because I'm just like, wow, the haters must be going crazy. They filter. There's only certain comments that are allowed. So when you go on Drake's comments, it's just a bunch of slurping and glazing. Like, it's absolutely nothing but positive comments. And I'm just like, wouldn't somebody give him shit for that? Like, why are you so thin-skinned that you don't even just allow the comments to be open?
Well, when you have the wherewithal to have someone whose job it is to curate the comment section, like they just sit there all day long. Oh, new comment. Oh, nope, that's got to be going.
Like, I go to Dwayne Wade's posts whenever he posts something with his daughter, and it's just living hell in the comments. Why? He needs that filter. He needs Drake's person to come change his comments. Drake needs to just go ahead and deal with the hatred.
Can we get that filter too?
does
I don't
it
really,
extend to Reddit?
Do you guys do this? I don't really look at comments a lot of things. I'm not a big comment looker.
Other people's comments?
Yeah.
No, you know what?
Some of the funniest things. you see in
Exactly.
comments.
This is my algorithm. God bless it. It knows what I'm here for. And as soon as I get into videos of things that I don't follow, it's literally just like someone at their most vulnerable, and then the comment section pops up.
Somebody I saw recently who was doing the Dougie, but doing horribly, speaking of wedding dances, and it was just really stiff, and the comment said, this person said, instruct me how to Douglas. And I just was laughing for half an hour.
Oh,
Le maximum.
I watched Perfect Match on Netflix, and as the season would go on, there'd be villains when the couples would break up, and you're like, I don't like this person. And then I'd go to Instagram and be like, I wonder if everyone has gone to their comments and is just crapping all over them on posts. Like, here's a picture of me with my dog, and it's like, fuck you, die, I hate you so much. And I'm like, yeah, I love this.
Do you ever watch A, House Hunters International, and then B, find them on Instagram and see if they still live where they house hunted?
What I love about House Hunters International is, unlike House Hunters, they give you the exact part of town where they're at. Because they're like, you'll never go to Sydney. No stalker's going to go there, right?
You're never going to go stalk these people in Thailand. Yeah.
What's the percentage of people who are still living there normally, Jess?
Well, the most recent one I watched, it appeared that they lived in their apartment for 6 months that they found on House Hunters, and then they moved back to the United States.
Nice.
I think if you go on some of those like home makeover shows, like you'll find that the people that had like extreme makeover home edition, whatever, within a couple of years, they end up selling the house because the house becomes so valuable that they can't afford it. So then they have to go and sell the house that they had made over for free.
Yeah. Reminds me of Pimp My Ride. Speaking of Pimp My Ride, here comes David Samson, host of Nothing Personal with David Samson. Samson, welcome to the show. And before we get into some of the more sports businessy topics, have you ever watched the program House Hunters or House Hunters International on HGTV?
I have not.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's a segment killer, but I absolutely have not.
It's worth a try. Hey, the Panthers, I don't know if you heard, David, they won the Stanley Cup. And
They did.
Much to the delight of most of South Florida. You once famously said that as president of the Marlins, you guys publicly were very supportive of the local teams, but privately there was a rivalry because you guys are all competing for the same dollar, the same entertainment dollar for the local market. When a team wins, like for instance, when you were president, the Heat won, right?
Yes.
What is the conversation behind the scenes for all the other organizations locally?
Well, first you're approached by your PR guy who says, all right, do you want to take out a newspaper ad, or what kind of congratulations do you want to do?
Social media
When
posts.
do you want to invite them to come to a game and throw out a first pitch? What do you want to do? Should the owner call the owner, president call the president? We would have a list of things that we would do. my fingers and toes would always be crossed because I would be despondent. I'd be thankful it was finally over, but I would obviously be upset because we'd have our corporate sales guys go out and they'd be in meetings and the company would say, listen, we've allocated our South Florida dollars to the winners, to the champions, so we're going to cut your deal by X amount. So there was always a definite dollar problem with all the success that another franchise would have. It really was never an issue with the Panthers during my time with the Marlins. And it really wasn't an issue with the Dolphins. The Heat were the biggest problem during the course of my career, without a question.
Samson, hello, by the way. It's Israel.
Hey,
I
Israel.
was curious, and I'm sorry if you've spoken about this before. Certainly wouldn't be a Dan Le Batard Show first to be repetitive. When you were at the game that they caught you on camera hugging and celebrating, that was against the Rangers, right? What was that feeling like? Because I didn't think you were that connected to this team. And then what was it like for you when they won the cup?
So you're talking about the picture, and I was with my son. And so now we have to go back to a post-divorce world where there is some sort of estrangement, wondering why the father was always away for years and then all of a sudden he's out of baseball and then disappears from the house entirely. And so my son and I've worked really hard to rebuild and build that relationship and that connection. And he agreed to go to a game with me. And we used to go to baseball games all the time. And we had never been to a hockey game. And I asked him if he wanted to go to the Ranger playoff game because he's working in New York now. And we decided, A, we were going to go, and B, we were going to wear Panthers gear. And I'm a Knick fan, and I'm a Ranger fan, but I was rooting for the Panthers because of Matt Caldwell and Vinny Viola. And for South Florida, I wanted the Panthers to win. And for whatever reason, TV caught us doing a celebratory hug. And that's sort of the story of the relationship, where he's celebrating looking one way, and I'm trying to latch on and get sort of a moment with him. But I count that as a moment, but maybe that's just
So
me.
the second part of my question is moot, because the actual Panthers' success in the cup means nothing to you. This was just a family moment.
That was a family moment. I'm truly happy that they won the cup, and I'm really happy for the organization because I don't compete with them at all anymore, obviously. And frankly, it's great to have a Stanley Cup champion. And I loved it for Miami because they became one of, I think, only 9 cities now to have championships in all 4 major sports. And that's pretty cool. I want Miami to be a part of that because I get to be a part of that, having helped the Marlins be a part of that.
That was my stat of the day. Thanks. David, question for you. What age was your son taller than you? When did that start?
It happened in high school. It was a big thing. I'll tell you a story. He wanted, as soon as he could talk, one of the things that he wanted was growth hormone because he didn't want to be short the way I am. And I was an absolute no. And it was a rough go because not that I didn't want him to be taller than I. He's got a tall grandfather. Both of his grandfathers are actually tall, 5'11" or greater, at least before they started shrinking. And now they're both passed away. But in any case, I thought he had a shot at height, though my 2 other children who are older are both very short. So we had a problem. And I said, no growth hormone. It's not good for you. He said, my friends are all doing it. Let me do it. And I was president of the Marlins at the time, and I was an absolute no. Now, do I think that he did it behind my back? I don't. But he's 5'10" and a half, and he told me that he is very happy that he's not 5'5".
Circumstantial evidence, David. My partner Anthony took growth hormones when he was younger. He is 5'5".
Oh, no.
Didn't work. Shortest one in his family.
No.
Well, so that's the worst of both worlds then.
Yep. Good athlete. Very short.
Yeah,
Gordon took
I
HGH
want
when he
that,
was
David.
tiny.
I actually wanted him to be okay with being short because I think it's important, but he just didn't want to be. And so I know when he became taller than I because I was pretty focused on it, and so was he. He'd always want to go back to back until I disappeared from the house. But then when I came back into his life, which I always wanted to be, but he was tall, and he likes that fact.
The Panthers' local TV deal has expired. Jeremy Taché told us yesterday. He found out a few hours before we went on air, and then it came out that Bally would no longer be broadcasting Panthers games. They're going to go with Scripps And when I was told scripts, David, I said, the spelling bee people?
Do you know what I just watched maybe 3 nights ago?
Bad
I had
Words?
one of my sleepless nights, and I watched Bad Words again.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie.
It is a movie that I've now seen maybe 10 times, and it still gets better every time.
Bateman as an outright asshole as opposed to a sarcastic asshole is quite the I enjoyed it very much, seeing him kind of play against type.
Real quick, Scripps involved in sports. They're WNBA and NWSL rights. So Scripps is not just getting into sports for the first time.
But it is the spelling bee people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me be clear about something, and I covered this on this morning's Nothing Personal, but here we go. The deal that the Panthers just did, they're only doing because they can't get money from a stone. Bally's is bankrupt. In the Panthers' mind, their deal was so small to begin with that they felt that they could have a PR strategy where they say, we're bringing the game to you. There's such great demand. We just won a Stanley Cup. We are going to reward this community with over-the-air rabbit antenna games. Meanwhile, as an owner of a team, you are despondent beyond repair that you have to go over the air. If the fan base were greater and bigger, and I'm not sullying the fan base at all, but if they thought for 1 minute that there would be enough subscribers who would pay monthly on a streaming app, that's the direction the Panthers would have gone. But what teams are doing is they're saying, no, we're going to go over the air as a gift to all of you to broaden our reach and exposure. It's all poppycock. They want the revenue. They want the money. And there was no money in that Bally's deal. So they're taking the rights back. But in order for the Panthers to thrive, they've got to find a way to monetize their broadcast. And Scripps ain't it.
The Phoenix Suns did the same thing. They said, hey, as soon as the new ownership group came in, hey, you know what first thing we're doing? We're giving the games for free over the air. And I said, that's because you don't have a TV deal. That's not
correct.
That's not out of magnanimity. NBA free agency is going, David. What do you find, what's tickled your fancy the most? For me, it's been LeBron announcing he'd take less than max to give the Lakers the opportunity to go out and get names. And then they didn't get anybody and said, you know what, never mind, I'll just take the max.
The whole thing was so choreographed. That broke live during my show this morning that he signed that deal, and I got to react live. And so now I've had about an hour to think about it, and it's even more Machiavellian than I was able to communicate. This was so scripted. Speaking of scripts, drafting Bronny, giving him a roster spot, a multi-year deal, then LeBron signing. It all had to happen in that order. And then for JJ Redick to deny and to actually say, hey, Bronny is what case study number 1 of our player development. He is here because he deserves to be here. It's such horse hockey that it made me laugh. Why couldn't they have just been honest? Say, you know what? This is damn cool. A father and a son. There's no way Bronny would be on this team, but we wanted to give this to LeBron because he deserves it. It's so amazing that he has this opportunity and that he's still a productive player at his age. And so we let him choose the coach, we let him choose the draft pick, and we let him choose the contract.
If I'm an executive in that situation, I'm cringing. I'm like, JJ, you are now saying he's earned this, meaning he deserves the spot, meaning if you don't play him, there's going to be a question mark here, or they're going to say that we made the wrong choice. That's a terrible choice for JJ to go with.
I couldn't imagine how bad the PR strategy was during that press conference. It's like they didn't expect to have to answer. It's like Bronny did not embrace the reality. So he was somehow coached to say, oh, this has nothing to do with my dad. It's a silly way to go. What I think is going to happen with the Lakers, and what I hope they're smart enough to have done with LeBron, is say, we drafted him, we signed him. We're going to play him the first time you're active. That's all we're guaranteeing. After that, he may be DNP CD every single game. We may need the roster spot at some point, but you will be on the court with your son one time. But if they promised him that he has to have a roster spot throughout the playoffs and all through this contract, that would just be disastrous for the Lakers.
We're going to have more with David Samson next, including something that Mike Ryan said yesterday that Pat Riley has been passed over by the game. We're back with David Samson, host of Nothing Personal with David Samson. You get it wherever you get podcasts or watch it right here on the DraftKings Network. David, yesterday a apoplectic Mike Ryan
nailed it.
Said that the
Is he ever any other way?
But it was extra yesterday. It was one of those things where on July 1st or July 2nd, I guess was yesterday, he was absolutely destroyed that the Heat did not somehow net Paul George and Victor Wembanyama and Steph Curry and every
I would
other.
say Mike was pretty calm on that subject.
Was he calm?
Yeah.
That was not calm. Just because the words are conveyed like this does not mean that there isn't an air of extreme panic. And I said, Mike, you knew what the cap situation was going in. You knew what the roster situation was going in. What gave you the idea that on July 1 you would have a blockbuster deal? And he just kept saying, well, this is what the Heat are known for. And I said, it's been Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Bosh and LeBron, and then Jimmy Butler. And that's it. Over the course of almost 30 years with Pat Riley, you've got 4 landmark deals that they did where they went whale hunting and they caught one.
Pretty good.
This is one of those situations where I'm biting my tongue so hard because I want to get past the David Samson portion of the interview because I have some beef with you on this list of yours.
Well, David, do you think the game has passed Pat Riley by and that the Heat somehow have failed magnificently because they didn't get someone in the first 48 hours of free agency?
So I got crushed for saying this on your show months ago, where I said that for the Heat to continue, it's time for Pat Riley to step aside. And it was absolutely not received well. And I love Pat, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's on the Mount Rushmore of executives and coaches, in my opinion. But it is a different game. And if you look at the players that he has decided to get into bed with, basically he's carried forward his coaching philosophy into his executive philosophy. And I call it the 2 for 18 philosophy. It's the dance with the players who brought you to the dance philosophy. It's the, oh my God, John Stark stinks, we're going to keep letting him shoot in Game 7 philosophy. It's the long-term deals. You guys criticize me nonstop for some of the deals I cut in your community. What about some of these long-term deals? And I can't argue with the rings. I can't argue with Shaq. LeBron choosing Miami, was it because of Pat Riley? I could argue one way or the other, and I could be convincing one way or the other. But if you look at what's happened when there has not been a central figure, and I count Jimmy Butler because the streak and the run with Jimmy has been great,
yes.
But recognizing when a window closes is not something that he's good at. And this window is closed for the Heat. They need to do something different, better, smarter. And it just occurs to me that Pat may be too stubborn.
I mean, that does sound like a calmed down version of Mike. I think it's crazy. I think they have been the only team locally, and I know people are tired of hearing this, who refuse to shut a window. It is always trying to keep that thing open, and they have been relevant since 1995 when Pat got here, save for a couple of years, we're an injury here and just a down cycle there. But the down cycle was very short. And so, we're not going to talk about everything that, Jimmy has done in this era. But again, South Floridian, grew up through all of this. They're the only team that forces themselves into that conversation or tries to all the time. And I'll just forever give them a standing ovation for that because I don't have that roller coaster experience like I've had with the Marlins, Dolphins, etc.
Give them a standing ovation.
Okay.
Right
For the
now.
rest of time, or because I can.
You said
There,
you would.
yeah.
You know, Riley, I love you, man. You've done great.
The camera's over there. Give it to the camera. There you go.
Pat is.
I love
Pat, I know
that.
you're watching.
I think it's great to give Pat a standing ovation, and he deserves to be in Springfield, and I agree with all of that. But the question was a bit smaller, Israel. The question is, do we think the game has changed enough that it has passed him by? Father Time is going to win every single time. You know that. And that was really my point. I am not sullying the run that the Heat have had. I'm merely saying that the comment that you said is very telling. They've refused to let the window close. That's not the sign of a good executive. A good executive knows when to close the window and gets it open as quickly as possible. And that's the difference.
Yeah, those windows have resulted in 3 championships and many more finals runs. So I'm good with that philosophy based on the results in the town that I live in for my life.
And also, I would add, like, this team isn't a horrible train wreck. I mean, this is still an elite defense every single year. Their problem is very specific, and I think the fix, they're searching for the fix. To me, passing them by is them going after the wrong guys, going after guys that, oh, this guy should be good. And it's like, no, that guy clearly isn't the answer. They went after Damian Lillard. They didn't get him. They went after Donovan Mitchell. It looks like they're not going to get him for the time being. Like, these are guys that I think are good selections. It's just, I mean, David, you know this as well as anyone. I can say, ooh, let me try and get this guy, but until I get an agreement going with the other side that owns his rights, there's not much I can do.
Yeah, I don't like when we are Monday morning quarterbacks, and that's what our industry is, where it's funny. One part of it is the insiders who try to scoop everybody. The other side are the critiquers who, once deals are done, they start talking about it. When you're actually doing the deals, it's not like it's portrayed in the media. And I mean, this must frustrate you to no end, because you're my comp for someone who's done deals and then also gets paid to talk about the people who are doing the deals. And I think you'll agree there is a Grand Canyon-sized difference between the way things actually happen and the way the majority of the media describes them and fans describe them as happening.
Yeah, I think a big thing is I look for mismanagement, right? So we talked about the Lakers in the last segment. We're talking about the Heat here. And you could see the Lakers have mismanagement. They're doing, they could say, oh, yeah, we wanted to get Klay Thompson, but he just said no or whatever. But along the way, they're doing these steps where it's like, that's not how you do that. And because you make this mistake that you think is just a throwaway thing, it accumulates, it builds up, and now you're where you find yourself. Whereas with the Heat, I think they make, by and large, the right decisions. It's just, at some point you're waiting for a shoe to drop that you have no control over.
Let me add this, if I can, David, to the idea that this strategy doesn't work, that it's not a good, front office strategy. And it's the only sport, the only team that I have ever paid a monthly subscription service to watch was for the Miami Heat. And it was a couple years ago when they weren't even supposed to be that good. Why? Because year after year after year after year, they've convinced me that they were going to try to be good, and that sold me. I want to watch them. They are in my heart, if you will. None of these other teams have that anymore. Dolphins had that for a little while when I was growing up, gone. Panthers never had it. It's getting there now. And Marlins, I'm sorry, never had it. It was too obvious of a just getting rid of everybody as soon as the championships were won. So Heat, the only person I would pay for. If the Panthers are doing this for long enough and are good long enough, you know what? They are people who are going to pay for their monthly subscription too.
Yeah, I don't want to relitigate, but Israel, I would actually hope that you would acknowledge that it was 2006, 3 years later, we got rid of everybody, not immediately.
Sorry. Well, the franchise, not just you doing it, but the
It's
franchise
okay.
in general.
I just wanted to sometimes I have to remind myself because we get lopped in with Huizinga, but I don't want to actually go back to that. But I am curious that you pay for the Heat. You wouldn't pay for the Panthers now. They just won the Cup.
I will.
They
I
need
would
to
next
do
season.
more.
Yeah, I think they might have missed out on that opportunity because I would have next season for sure.
So it's interesting because their choice has to be because they, in their mind, do not feel that it's real enough. And if you look at the ratings, and I know that when I used to, it's not nice of me, but we used to call the Panthers hashtag. because that was the audience on Bally's. It used to be Fox Sports Florida, but that was the number. It was Heat, Marlins, and hashtag. And what the Panthers have done is they changed their whole organization. They've committed on the ice. They have done something that is incredible that ended in a Stanley Cup. My view is you've got to take it out for a ride. And they gave up so quickly, and I get it, because you panic when you see what's happening with your...
How quick can they turn that switch? I mean, obviously now it's too late. They already announced, but how quick could they have turned that switch?
You can develop it with Gary Bettman, and with the streaming service. You can have your own streaming service the way the Yankees did with Yes Network. I don't know why there's a thumb up right now. Did I do that? No, so you can do that. Sorry, that's not even fun for the audio people. Yes, it would be done, available for next season without a question.
Real quick, David, before we get, you do have a movie to
review?
Yeah,
yes,
but
please.
Before we get there, hashtag, is it just because it's a number sign and it doesn't matter what the actual number is? Is that the joke?
Hashtag is when it doesn't rate.
Okay.
Nice. All right.
It's a small enough audience that it doesn't rate.
David, I'm really excited for the movie you are reviewing this week.
I hope so. And Jessica and Lucy, I know that we don't share movie tastes, and I get it. I didn't want to watch 1940s movies when I was growing up and your age. So you may think 80s movies are this. There is a documentary out today. It's a current movie. It's called Remembering Gene Wilder. And I don't know if you know who Gene Wilder is, but I want to co-sign.
He went to Iowa.
Oh, yeah?
I did not know that.
Him and Ashton Kutcher. That's all we got. Caitlin Clark, too, but Ashton Kutcher didn't graduate.
I guess you still get to count that you went to college if you don't graduate. Yep. I guess baseball players do it all the time, so do basketball players. So, Remembering Gene Wilder, he is an actor. This documentary goes back to his beginnings, which were fascinating, through Willy Wonka, which is only one of the famous parts he had. And Gene Wilder has a personal place in my life because the first movie that got me into movies was a Gene Wilder movie called Silver Streak. And the relationship between him and Richard Pryor, who is really the grandfather of all the great comedians you see today, to me, Richard Pryor. Eddie Murphy may be the father. Richard Pryor is Eddie Murphy's father. And people may not know who that is. They may associate him with freebasing. You may associate Gene Wilder with just Wonka. If you watch this documentary, it will give you insight into the rebar that was Gene Wilder for the movie industry, for the comedy industry, for the buddy movie industry. So I would ask, and I don't ask a lot, if you're willing, please watch Remembering Gene Wilder.
I watched it. It's incredible.
Really?
And I did not know that he passed away from Alzheimer's. And so even that storytelling about how the end came about for him kind of moved me. And I'm a guy who doesn't get moved very easily. So it is definitely worth your time, even if all you've ever seen of him was Willy Wonka. It's incredible. It's a great piece of documentary. David, thanks a lot. Nothing Personal with David Samson. Check him out wherever you get podcasts.
We're online, and it's time for a throwback chat with legendary television icon Maury Povich. You might remember Maury from his show, A Current Affair, and later, The Maury Povich Show. Maury's father was also a talented sports writer. Dan knew him, and I kid you not, the man's name was Shirley. This is the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
During your time on A Current Affair, can you say that this sound from A Current Affair is the best sound ever created in TV news?
Yeah, that's the famous ka-chung that was named after my wife, and it is for all the purebreds. That is the swish of a golf club and the sound of an old-time elementary school construction paper cutter put through a synthesizer.
Ka-Chung, named after Connie Chung, his wife. I did not know the things you learn on this show. Why is it called a Ka-Chung? She's a serious journalist.
Because underneath it all, she liked to laugh.
Well, what does she make, Maury, of your television show? Because you've taken a turn toward, how do I even say this? Here, you say it for me, because your television show...
Wait. Come on. You don't think that, I get into deep social issues on my show? Of course I do.
You do, but, I mean, it's
I just do it at in a different bent, that's all.
Do you have a show or topic you've done and afterward you thought to yourself, I need to go take a shower. I shouldn't have done that show.
No, I mean, I can turn it. I mean, I can usually take most topics. I'll tell you the most shocking aspect of, like, the paternity shows, which are really our signature shows. The most shocking moment in all of talk was when I read the results of a DNA test on twins, and I said, this man who you're accusing of being the father is the father of one, but not the other.
Ooh.
How's that?
That's good television right there is what that is.
That's the fraternal twin syndrome. 1 in a million could be two fathers.
I was surprised. Maury Povich with us on 790, 70 years old. You're a scratch golfer, huh? A scratch golfer.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I was down in your area last week, and I surely wasn't a scratch golfer. I played at Indian Creek. They have a great two-man team invitational there, and I've never really competed there. I've played there before, and it's a marvelous course in Miami, up there around 194th Street, and I didn't. Me and my partner shot about 6 over par for 3 days, but we didn't play well. But it was windy.
Well,
that was my excuse.
How you must have beaten some legitimate, good, great players.
Well, a few, but not many.
Well, give us some stories. You got to have some good stories.
Well, my proudest moment in golf was in 2000. I qualified for the United States Senior Amateur, and I made match play. And Kornheiser was doing a show on ESPN, and called up and basically said, if my father had been gone for 2 years, and he said, if your father was alive today, even he wouldn't believe this.
Well, because, I mean, scratch golfers, Stugotz, that's not messing around.
Well, I'm not a scratch. I'm about a 1.3 or 4
Well, that's
now.
That's still not messing around, though, Maury.
Well, the problem is that in golf, it is so crazy that at my age, I still think I can get better. I mean, that's the craziest. I want to tell you something. I still don't believe that Charles Barkley was at one time about an 8 or a 9.
It's hard to believe with that swing. That's the ugliest swing you've ever seen, I got to imagine.
Well, I have, but you know what Charles does, even with that swing? Because I play with him every year in Tahoe. I don't play with him, but in the same tournament. But on the range, he gives what we call walk-bys. In other words, he'll walk by everybody on the range and start talking about how they can improve their swing.
Well, what do you say to the critic who says that the Jerry Springerization of television, the Morton Downey Jr.ing of television, that you're contaminating the airwaves? Now,
I mean, I think anybody who watches talk TV can draw a real distinction between me and Jerry. I mean, Jerry and I are long-time acquaintances, and we like each other, but he'll tell you that, I mean, he's a different show. I mean, he's a theater, and he's wrestling, and I have people on with real problems.
Maury, thank you for coming on.
Dan, I just want to give you this accolade. I used to love you on Sundays on ESPN when you wrote and delivered that stuff early in the morning, and I'm only sorry my father was never around to hear that, because that was pure greatness.
Thank you. That is very, very flattering. I appreciate that coming from you. And
my pleasure.
I also love the Ka-Chung. I can't believe we learned, Stugotz, that it's called the Ka-Chung. It's named after his wife. That has to be a career achievement for her, doesn't it? I mean, that she got that sound named after her.
That's it. Thanks so much.
What do you think of my work, Maury?
It's fair.
Ka-Chung.
Yo, Izzy actually asked me a really good question before the mics went on. These images that are behind you guys, is that new or has this been a thing before? Because I
having
have
some fun with the video department. We're trying.
I
new
endorse
things.
these because every time I look back, normally I just kind of look at you guys to see which one's engaging. And now I get to see from left to right, dancing Chris Cody. In the middle, dancing Greg Cody. On the right, another dancing and then disappearing Chris Cody.
elevator,
It
here
is
it
the
comes. Oh, see you later.
happiest that room has ever been, just on a loop.
Well, it'd be
And-
odd if they had behind us just us in our phones.
Well,
30
yeah,
seconds.
yeah, no, that's true. But
Yeah.
just the fact that it is, 3 Codys, I guess technically 2 Codys, right behind you doing everything to liven up the room, I think it's absolutely perfect.
Shout out video team.
We got to add Chris doing the electric slide in
Yeah.
the last
It's
segment
electric.
to the montage.
Na-na-na-na-na.
I'm with you. We had like someone cut like a little sizzle of like the last 3 years of like show moments for a meeting we had recently, and I enjoyed it. It was like, oh wow, look at that fun time. Look at that fun time.
We have done some stuff.
Was there a clip of Chris answering his phone? Because I am still shocked that is a possibility.
Oh, my foot.
Yeah,
I
answering
did that
your
for
foot phone.
Mystery Crate actually. Check out Mystery Crate this week if you want to see
Wow.
me answer my phone.
Bringing it back.
with your foot.
Yeah.
I do that all the
Oh
time.
my God.
But
Not pick up your cell phone with your foot, but put your foot to your ear.
Wait,
like
what
it
do
is
you
your
do?
phone.
As if it were a
Oh.
phone, yes.
That flexibility is
I was
you're either born with that or
staggered.
you're not.
Chris, show him. Answer the phone, please,
I don't
Chris.
hear a ring. I mean, there's no phone ring.
Ring, ring.
Wait,
Oh,
so
it's
your
a Spanish
foot is your
phone.
phone?
Look at that. Look at
That's
that.
insane.
My
Oh yeah,
hip
we've done
does
that before.
not
on
do
Mystery
that.
Crate. I got you. Real mystery.
We all
Crate
have
heads
weird
know.
weird talents.
You answer a phone with your foot?
Yeah, like
Like you
take
grab your
big
phone
toe
with
and
your
you
foot?
hit the green button. See, Lucy knows what I'm
But you
talking
don't
about.
grab it with your
What?
Yeah,
foot.
you grab it with your in between your
This
big
is why you
toe
don't
and your
touch
tall
other
toe,
people's phones.
Wait,
and then you pick it up
what?
and you put it.
Hold on a
against
second.
your
Both
ear.
of you do this?
Yeah, you just.
And you're
use
not the foot girl.
I feel like Lucy was just supporting a friend.
No. You, if like my phone is like, let's say I'm painting my nails, my phone's out of reach. Someone calls, and I can, swipe or press the green button. I press it, and then I
With
can
what?
press speaker.
With what?
Big toe.
Yeah, big toe.
Also, like the
Foot.
remote.
Or I could do my like the
No.
ball of my foot.
No foot. The remote when you're changing the volume.
Yeah,
Change
I
the
can do
volume.
that.
So I'm
with
never
your toe.
touching your remote control
With
either
your
when I go to your
foot?
house. Okay.
Clean.
I don't do it often.
I had a barefoot flyer the other day, and I was like, I thought we were done with these. Because, like, you see those videos of, like, the people. Remember when, like, airplanes, I guess, just don't have screens behind their seats anymore, at least not the airplanes I can afford. So, like, they had those, and then you'd see the videos of people, like, swiping with their toes, and you're like, okay, I'm never touching that again. And then they got rid of those screens, at least on the planes I go on. There's no screens anymore. And then I just saw, like, a person just, like, barefoot, like, with their foot, like, on the person in front of their, like, leaning against the back of
dogging
the
the flight.
armrest. It's not like they wouldn't touching them because it wasn't that far, but it was just like, why are we still doing this whole barefoot thing?
See,
like on airplanes,
I'm a-
touching everything. Like, just like your foot might be gross, right? But like also the chair is gross. Like, why do you want your possibly clean foot touching this nasty ass seat?
I never go barefoot on flights, never even wore sandals, always have socks on my feet. But I don't get appalled by it the way some people do. I'm going to defend these people.
don't
I
get
don't do it.
appalled by
But
a
I don't like if I see
barefoot-
someone with sandals, like I'm just like
Not
but
sandals,
barefoot
shoes
touching the rug.
off. No,
The son of
shoes
the great
off.
toe does not
I
pay
just-
attention to other people's feet.
I just don't look at it and get that disgusted. Obviously, if someone's swiping like the screen with their foot, that would be disgusting.
I'ma
But
tell you-
I want to defend foot people.
I'm gonna tell you why the sandal people are on the shit list, right? Number one is most of them don't have TSA pre-check, meaning you went through security barefoot through this gross ass airport where billions of people walk through every single hour. Like that's gross, right? That's number one. Then they get on the plane and they just kick their feet up and touch things that are basically touched by hands, right? My hands touch these armrests, man. My hands touch the tray in
Who's
front
putting
of
their
me.
foot on the armrest?
Plenty
The
of
person
people.
on the
That's
plane.
what
Plenty
I'm
of
trying to
people.
tell you.
Plenty of people.
A lot
All
of
right.
people.
I won't defend those people.
I recently had a foot situation that I feel like maybe Jess and Lucy can relate to, but here we go. So you know how they have those little masks and stuff that they have at like Ulta or Sephora, right? You could do a little day, 15-minute. Well, they have those things for your feet, right? So you could just put your feet in a little pouch, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of liquid in there. You leave it in there for an hour, boom, it's supposed to do something to your feet, right? They're not
What's
very
this
expensive. I
assumption
buy
that
them
we're
all the
not
time.
foot masking over here, by the
are you?
way?
I fast.
Are you putting a face mask on?
I face mask sometimes. I like the ones that dry that you peel off, and then here's the gross part. I like to see the blackheads get pulled out. Like I like to see the stalactites and stalagmites on my old
I watched
removed
those
face
videos
mask.
on TikTok.
You're never gonna like to see what I experienced because I did one of these before. It was a foot thing, right? And turns out it was fine. It was like a moisturizing thing. This one was more of a peel thing. Yes, Lucy.
It lasts for days,
I didn't
too.
read that on the thing. And so I'm done, whatever. I'm like, oh, my feet look normal. 2 days later, I looked down and it looked like I had a flesh-eating disease because all my foot skin was coming off of my feet. I looked in the mirror with my foot like that, and the entire bottom of my foot was about
sure
to
you
come
can't
off.
answer the phone?
Was it?
Ring,
Is it called baby
ring,
foot?
ring.
Can we
It's
put it on
supposed to be
speaker,
like
please?
an exfoliating thing. It's like it was a baby foot. It's like a multi-day foot mask.
But it was
It peels
6
off your
full
whole foot.
days.
I've never done
it.
it.
Was
but-
insane. I thought it was going to keep going up, and then
No,
all of
it's
a sudden
like a
I'd be
chemical
peeling
peel
off
for your foot.
They didn't warn you on a week from now, your foot's going to be gross. And I had a pedicure planned, scheduled, and I almost canceled it because I was embarrassed. And she went in there. She's like, "No, people do this all the time. They come in the phase where you were, where it was just about to come off, and they're like, ew, that's gross." At least I came in at the back end of the phase.
What?
But right now, if you were to touch my foot, baby soft
Do
skin.
it. Touch it.
Amazing.
Confirm
you want
that.
to?
I'll touch it.
I kind of want to
Confirm
touch
it.
it.
Come over here, Chris. Touch his
I
foot.
was just doing a thing.
No, not.
Chris,
No.
you just
Said
said
you'd
you
do it.
weren't
Ooh, I'm
grossed
wearing
out
good
by
socks
feet.
today.
Touch it.
I
You're
guarantee
going.
you this foot is
touch
probably
it.
Go, Chris. Go.
so much nicer
Yeah,
than your
do
dad's
that.
foot that you grew up with, by the way. That's probably why he's not grossed out by airplane feet, because he grew up with Greg Cody,
Yeah.
the worst foot of all.
My dad has some pretty gross
By the
feet.
way.
And
Dads have gross feet. I
Golden State
realized.
Warriors.
Not all of them.
I
Get
look
ready,
at my
buddy.
feet and I wonder sometimes, is it a time bomb
Is your
here?
foot gross?
No, it's not. Actually, I've been complimenting my feet
that's-
a lot of times in
Wow.
my life. They
Air
say I
out
have
a little if you
Look
want.
at that.
Foot boys.
Model quality feet is what they say.
Really? They say that.
This is
They
the foot
say.
that I had a little surgery on. I got rid
It
of
does
a
look
cyst
very
right there.
soft.
Thank
I'm
you.
not gonna
I don't know
lie.
what that is.
It's like it's like
You probably want to go this
Touch
part.
it.
he
right
had
there.
Botox on his feet. He doesn't have it. It's smooth.
Didn't you
Yeah,
do the little
nice
piggies
skin.
to Whitty one time, Chris? Or was that someone else?
Yeah, do little piggies.
Do the
Tell
little
Chris to do
poggies.
little piggies.
Yes. Which little piggy goes
This
home? I don't
little
remember.
piggy
Yeah, which one was it?
had
How did
roast
that
beef.
go?
The pinky piggy goes home.
That was good
Yeah,
enough.
I know. I was trying to trick him to do it.
Wee.
All the way home.
Didn't work.
Soft
Yeah.
foot.
Soft
Where's
foot.
he going? He just
He-
left.
I
had to
imagine
wash
he's
his
gonna
hands
wash
alone.
his hands, or maybe not. How much?
July.
How much would you offer as a reward for the retrieval of something of value to you?
It depends on the thing.
Let's say
value.
it's your phone. You lost your phone, and you say, "Hey, if you bring me my phone back, I'll give you." How much would you say for a lost phone?
$200.
$200. $200 is a lot, but okay. Billy,
So you want me to say less than $200?
Whatever.
Or should I should say more?
what? No, what? If,
$400.
What if you lost your laptop? How much?
That's
for
a company
lo-
laptop. That's on them. I don't
175.
care. They're on the hook, not me. Jack.
What if you lost your glasses?
$6 billion.
Okay.
I don't know.
There you go.
What if you
That's how we play
lost
the game.
a ring worth $100,000? Would a couple of tickets to a game and some signed merch get the job done?
So this is a Jaylen Brown thing.
This is absolutely the Jaylen Brown thing. He lost his ring, this
During the championship parade.
diamond encrusted ring during the championship parade. Said, big reward for the person who returns it to me, who can find it and return it to me. Big reward. I'm thinking, wow, he's giving like this guy just signed
Well, before you even say what the award is, the reward was.
Yeah.
What are you doing in that situation? You have all that information. You know the ring is real. You know who it belongs to. You probably have a good idea. It's 6 figures at the minimum. What are you doing with that?
I am
As
sending,
a Celtics fan. You are also a Celtics fan because you were at the parade.
Jeez, I'm sending the biggest ransom note I can send, brother.
Getting a lot of magazines.
Yep. You have 24 hours. So you
I
gotta-
thought we were talking about other magazines.
I
What's going
didn't know
on
where he was
here?
going there, but now he's writing
Magazine, a lot of
ransom letter.
magazines.
Got
You're
it.
getting clippings from the magazines,
All right,
guys.
so you
Come
can
on,
write
20 CB.
the ransom note.
Already
Yeah,
wasting money that you don't even have yet from
Oh,
that ring.
buddy, I got money.
It's kind of like when people catch like home run balls that the team wants to give to the
Yeah.
player, the team wants back, and they're like, "Oh, well, how about we give you a free hot dog?"
This to me is the easiest answer. Like people talk about bags of money, what could be illegal, what This, and I know it can be illegal if you actually know that it belongs to somebody else. I'm going to play dumb. I'm going to multiple pawn shops, actually. I'm going to play dumb. And if one of them says, hey, didn't Jaylen Brown lose this ring? I'd be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Give me my ring. I'm getting out of here until I get the price that I want. I'm getting that money. And then I'm going to snip all those little magazine letters and write him a letter and say, hey, I think your ring is at this pawn shop. And that's it. I get my money.
That's crazy behavior.
What are you talking about? There are people who would take bags of money and just go home with it. Why wouldn't you take the ring?
Why are they going to snitch on where you sold it?
Yeah, the poor pawn guy.
Exactly. What are you doing that for?
He's making money. Jaylen Brown's going to buy it back from him.
You have to go to a really unethical pawn guy, though, because some of them wouldn't buy that sort of thing if they knew it belonged to someone.
An unethical pawn shop owner, I don't think those exist. You're right.
Don't go to the Pawn Stars. They're very ethical.
Okay, so at the very least, like if I'm thinking I can get $100K for that ring, I don't care whose it is. I'm going to do it. He probably has a bunch of rings, or he can buy it back, or he can give the pawn shop owner the prize. What was the prize?
The prize was some tickets to Celtics games and some signed merch. And I was just like, dude, I'm not saying that, look, if I found it, I wouldn't ask for $100,000 because it's worth $100,000. Like, you can't ask for what the thing is worth because at that point, it's like, I'll just buy a new one.
Oh, I'm not going to ask Jaylen Brown, but I'm going to ask somebody else for what it's worth.
But if he came and said $10,000 reward, I'll think, like, okay. Like, then I get to be a hero. Like, okay, I found Jaylen Brown's ring and I got a little cash to say something about it. But, like, an autographed jersey and tickets to a game?
Yeah, even it's got to be at least a quarter.
Dude,
of what
that means
the thing is
literally
worth.
he's not spending any money.
Right.
The tickets are comp. The jersey, I get it from the equipment manager and sign it. You're literally not willing to pay $1
also,
out of pocket.
Another element, highest paid player in the league. Another thing to think about.
How about this? How about you take the ring, you go to a jeweler, and you go, hey, look, let's create one, but a fake one that looks just like it. He's not going to know the difference.
Bit much.
Okay, then we go split half and half. You can sell this thing on the down low on the black market. We split the money. We give him back the ring. He thinks it's the real ring. It is, of course, the fake ring that costs us $25 instead of $100,000. Everybody's happy.
You just wrote Ocean's 12, my friend.
Ocean's 17.
That is the worst
Ocean's
of the ideas.
18.
What was your idea?
I'd leave it there,
Okay,
run
thank
away,
you.
yeah.
That's right. It's time for Against the Spread. And it is brought to you by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear about what DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Lucy, kick us off with Against the Spread.
Tonight, some WNBA action. The Mystics are at the Aces. I almost said Vases. That's not what they're called. The Mystics are really, really bad, so I know it's a giant spread, but I'm taking the Aces minus 16.5. The Aces are playing, back-to-back, but the Mystics are really, really bad, and the Aces are playing their best basketball of the season. So I'm taking the Aces minus 16.5, not the Vases, against the spread.
Can't go wrong.
Jessica or Tony, who's next?
I'll go. Lucy, I know you only picked that game because you didn't want to have to say Mercury out loud. And that's who I'm taking tonight to cover the 5-point spread against the Wings.
Wangs.
Even though they've also played several games back-to-back. But that's besides the point. Venus Mercury.
Can Lucy not say Mercury?
Tony.
I can't say a
Can you
lot
say
of things.
Arnold Palmer?
Arnold Palmer. I have to say it
Almost
like
got
that, though, and it makes you sound super rude.
Can you say Real World Road Rules Challenge pretty fast?
What?
We
Real
used to have to say that.
World Road Rules Challenge. I definitely can't say it fast.
Billy can, probably.
All right, we're going to the MLB. We've got the Miami Marlins and the Boston Red Sox. I think they're doing fireworks tonight at the stadium. And you know what the Marlins are when they do fireworks?
What are they?
Loud.
I don't know exactly, but very good.
Oh.
I'm going to take the Miami Marlins plus 1.5 on the run line. Against the spread.
Here's Lucy trying to say Arnold Palmer.
I can say Mercury and Arnold Palmer now. It's not good.
All right, Billy.
It's not
Over
good.
to you.
Music.
All right.
No Palmer.
It's with a heavy heart that I'm going to have to make this choice. The Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Who's even in it anymore?
Great question.
Bunch of hacks.
A bunch of hacks. Well, it's a bunch of people that we don't know. I'm not going to call them hacks. But Joey Chestnut is not in it, which means for the first time in a long time, we're going to have a new winner. The favorite is Jeffrey Esper. Now, last year, Jeffrey Esper finished in second place with 49 hot dogs. The year before, he finished in second place with 47.5 hot dogs. A 1.5 hot dog jump from year to year. In third place in 2022, we had James Webb with 41 hot dogs. And last year, he had 47 hot dogs, a 6 hot dog jump.
Finally, the type of research Dan wants for these segments.
As we mentioned, and I believe that Esper had 50 hot dogs in 2021, but I'm kind of speed checking here, so I'm not sure. So it seems like he's gone up and down, fluctuated. James Webb, while not the favorite, is a plus 145, and I'm going to take James Webb with an upset win in the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Money on the money line.
Against the spread.
You guys think Kobayashi feels like I retired too early?
Well, he got banned.
He's got a payday.
He got banned too?
Yeah, because he signed with a competitive eating company beforehand, and then he was up to, like, shenanigans. So, like, he signed with a competitor, and then they banned him from doing it, and then he would go and, like, crash the hot dog eating contest, and then he'd get arrested, and they'd take him out. Like, it was a whole thing.
Arrested?
Yeah, so then there was
they make
questions.
him,
Is
like,
Joey
vomit
Chestnut going to
hot
do...
dogs?
Is he going to... Yeah, I don't know. So then Joey Chestnut, is he going to pull off something? Nope, Joey Chestnut will be in a hot dog eating contest tomorrow as well.
On Netflix,
With no. That's, I think, Labor Day.
Okay.
Tomorrow, he's going to be in a hot dog eating contest, I think, at Fort Bragg with soldiers. So
that with
he's
the vegan
going
dogs?
Supporting the troops.
Yeah.
Is that the vegan dogs?
No,
I don't know
that's
what
the
it is.
Netflix one. The vegan dog is the Netflix one.
Yeah.
I'm so confused about all of this Joey Chestnut stuff, but I do feel like I'm going to be more interested in the hot dog eating contest than ever, knowing that we'll have a new winner crowned.
I got to tell you.
It's a different segment.
I got to tell you. I haven't watched a hot dog eating contest several times.
Segue.
It's not really. We're still talking about hot dogs.
Bona fides.
There's a reason why Joey Chestnut wins. Beyond just the
Eating the
talent. No, the talent. Beyond the talent. Like his technique. I see some of these other clowns, they're trying to eat the whole hot dog.
There's a guy that put in ketchup and mustard on
Yeah,
it. He's like,
man.
guy, come on, we're
the ball
speed
game,
eating
buddy.
here. What are we doing?
Yeah, man. Like
You shouldn't be able to dunk in water.
Why not?
Because it's just like that. I think it should be old-fashioned. Eat the hot dog.
I think that's more player safety, right? So you
Yeah,
don't choke.
that hot dog's getting lodged right here.
The bread too, yeah.
Without
That's
any
part
water.
of the.
I feel like personally, I'm not in watching shape for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. I've had heartburn / acid reflux the last few days. I'm a tummy ache survivor. I'm here at work.
Tummy ache city.
Congratulations.
Tummy ache city, and I just feel like I'm not ready to watch men and women regurgitate hot dogs on TV.
I gotta say, having, like I said, with all the hot dog talk, I talked about this with Fuentes a few months ago. You guys know about the 999 challenge, right? Like you gotta eat.
I do, but tell Izzy.
9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings at a baseball game. I think I can absolutely crush it.
Who's pitching?
That's a good question.
Because if it's an ace, it's pretty short innings.
Yeah.
Dude,
so
that
need someone to
7th, 8th, and 9th inning are going to be the worst experience.
I think the beer is the hardest part.
If you're like, imagine being 6 of each through, like if you're doing the inning thing, like I'm gonna try to do 1 of each an inning. It's the bottom of the 6. You just finished 6 hot dogs.
I don't think you pace
6
yourself
beers.
on this. You gotta come out quick.
You gotta go. Yeah, you gotta get out to an early lead.
Yeah.
And then, because if you do like 1 and then like I'm done for the inning, like no.
No, you're never gonna catch up.
Your body, the more you eat quickly, the more you can eat. If you eat a little bit, wait a little, eat a little bit, then you can't eat that much.
I'm looking up this Jeffrey Esper, by the way, the person that I did not pick to win the hot dog eating contest, and it may have been a mistake. Jeffrey Esper, I'm on his official Major League Eating profile. He's 49 years old.
Mm-hmm. Prime of his career.
The other guy's 35, which is also why I was thinking big jumps
He's
in
a
hot
wily
dogs. I
vet.
feel like maybe we go. But this Jeffrey Esper has a world record, I guess, for eating 9.75 pounds of Spam in 8 minutes. 281 buffalo chicken wings in 12 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot of wings.
He has
buffalo wings too.
83 slices of pizza in 10 minutes.
I've done that.
23.75 pounds of strawberry shortcake in 8 minutes.
Oh, it's thirsty.
23 pounds of strawberry shortake.
How much milk?
That's diabolical.
Yeah.
Do you get to take a bathroom break? Is it okay to take a bathroom break during the 9-inning challenge?
Yeah, only number 1.
Yeah, no, you can go to the bathroom.
As long as you don't vomit, right? You can go to the bathroom.
The idea is that in 9 innings, you have to have 9
9
beers and 9 hot dogs.
I think I have a formula that we can make this happen. I mean,
What's
what
that?
you do is you double up on the dogs.
3 pre-rolls.
Now, sometimes if you're like a little stoned, you start thinking about what you're doing. It's like, am I really stuffing 9 of these things in my face? I'm not hungry anymore. I'm out of here. No, I don't think. Can you? I don't think you can do beer. Can you do the beer first? Knock the beer out of the way. I don't think that helps. I think you got to go the other way around, right?
Beer
Or
first, you'll be burping the whole time.
Yeah.
You'll be too bloated.
You also need a base.
Hot dogs
Izzy.
first. You're not going to be
No,
burping.
but the hot dog gives you the base. The
No,
bread
the
and the
base
dog
is
give you the
Pepsid
base.
AC, guys. That's the base.
That's what I think. I think you go 3 or 4 hot dogs first inning.
I think you got a shotgun.
You can't eat 4 hot dogs in 1 inning.
Yeah, you
Yes.
can.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I'll do it right now.
Not half
I'll
an
do
inning.
it right
You
now.
can do it in an
Hell
inning.
yeah.
I'll do it right
Let's
now.
do it right
Go
now.
get me 4 hot dogs.
Ethan, go get 4 hot
Go
dogs.
for
And cook them.
Beef,
Cooked hot
please,
dogs?
Yeah. Not. Don't get me raw ones, and don't get me
Chicago
pork ones.
dogs? Do you want to eat like a little tomato, a little
And a big
sport
bucket of
pepper,
water,
a little
please,
Why
Ethan.
not?
salt,
Why not? I'm not gonna eat them fast. No, I'm not a
relish.
speed eater, but I'll eat 4 hot dogs right here. I'll eat 4 hot dogs in 1 segment.
But for your safety,
You're
you
so
should just
full
dip
of
them in
shit.
water first.
I'll eat 4. Get them to me right now. Go to Nathan's. I'll get them.
I believe that he can have 4.
4 hot dogs?
It's not 4.
Chris,
not that
I
That's an
go
appetizer
home.
for my boy.
Dude,
Yeah.
I go home. I want a snack. I make hot dogs. My mom's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just want a snack." I don't wanna
Everyone
really
in
eat."
here could just crush 4
hot dogs in that
in
like
1
Two
segment.
is a very
In
no 1
12
inning.
and a half minutes?
No,
Yes.
in 1 inning. He said.
We're not
didn't
talking.
He said in 1
I could do it in
segment.
1 segment.
he? In 12 minutes, you can eat 4 hot dogs.
4
Why
hot
not?
dogs.
Yeah.
Chris,
I'm not saying I couldn't physically do it, but I'm gonna feel like shit
No.
after
Yeah,
3.
well, that's the thing.
I like hot dogs.
Make mine carrot dogs, please.
Carrot.
But you don't like dogs?
I don't eat meat.
I'm having
Since when?
second guesses on James Webb. I got to be honest with you.
Wait.
70 glazed donuts in 8 minutes isn't that impressive to me.
70?
Yes, 70
70?
in 8 minutes. No, 70.
I've seen Billy do a box of Krispy Kreme in 5
I
minutes.
had 2 this morning.
My ex-husband's had a professor, I guess an econ professor, who used that for, what's the theory? Diminished returns, right?
Yeah.
So he had him stand in front of the class and eat as many Krispy Kreme donuts as he could eat. And I think he got through like 11 and just that one setting and had never eaten a Krispy Kreme donut again for the rest of his
Again,
life.
wow.
I think that the
like me
last
with gin.
Krispy Kreme donut I had, I was like, it felt like it sat in my stomach for a few days. It was
can I-
gross.
From 1? Dude, you can. 3
they're
easy.
so
Boom, boom, boom.
greasy.
Moment of vulnerability.
Boom,
They're
boom,
delicious.
100%.
I'm not that impressed with the Krispy Kreme donut.
Yo, I had the saddest Krispy Kreme experience the other day, and this was to answer Billy's question. You asked me in the eating area earlier whether when was the
In the
last time I
kitchen?
had a donut.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
The eating area.
Commissary.
Here.
Commissary.
Sorry, commissary as well. And the answer was just a few days ago, I went through, near me, they have a Krispy Kreme drive-thru.
Oh,
and when I ordered a singular glazed donut, she responded with, "They're not hot right now." And I said, "It doesn't matter."
It absolutely
I
matters.
know. I ate it anyway.
matters so
I cried a
much.
little bit
He's
that
a
I
piece of
ordered
shit.
it anyway. I could have
Lucy,
just
is what
come
he's
back
trying to
later.
say.
What kind
Like,
of
I'm a piece of
monster?
shit.
What
I know.
kind of monster
Ate it
orders
anyway.
one Krispy Kreme donut?
Yeah,
at a
that's
drive-thru?
crazy.
At a drive-thru.
That's
What
crazy
are you
behavior.
doing, my
not
guy?
hot. And
These
it's
two
not
It's like,
thumbs.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Just give it to me.
I'll take one, please. That'll be $1.12. Thank you. Have a good day.
I have a sentence here that a lot of people are going
You
to
sick
judge.
fuck.
Whoa.
I thought about getting two. I
God
just went with
forbid.
the one.
I was at a Walmart the other day, and like, there's no Krispy Kreme by me, right? There's not just a ton of Krispy Kremes in my area. So, like, I will go to, like, a grocery store, and I'll get, like, the pre-packaged, like, Krispy Kreme variety pack or whatever, right? But a lot of times, those will sit there, like, a day or two, right?
You wish. Like a week.
I've found that at Walmart, they have, like, a little Krispy Kreme donut section, like a little donut
Says
window.
delivered fresh.
That
daily.
you go in there, like, with the little tongs, and you, like, take out the donut and you serve
they're
yourself,
always filled.
right?
No one eats those things.
I do. So I went and I told my daughter because she wanted a pink donut. And I was like, okay, come with me to Walmart and we'll go get you a pink donut. I'll do the things that I have to get here, like some groceries or whatever, and we'll get you a pink donut with sprinkles. That's what she wanted. But you can't just get one Krispy Kreme donut because, as Chris
Unless
pointed
you're a
out,
monster.
you're a crazy person if you do that. But the donuts there are priced per donut, right? So, like, you go, you take out the donut, you put in the one donut sleeve, you scan the barcode, and they charge you $2.12 or whatever.
Throw two in there.
Which is like a whole nother story. Donuts
Sorry,
should
two-
cost
two?
Donuts should cost 50 cents.
$2 a donut?
Yes, that's what donuts cost now. That's the price of donuts in America.
Got a little
I
walk
know, I
around
bought
donut
one.
first.
They should cost like 54 cents maximum a donut. That's a platform I
maximum.
think anyone would get elected on. The 54-cent donut.
Oh, go back to junior high, middle school days. You
Well, you're
sell
old.
your donuts, you just a quarter per donut. You
A
make-
quarter?
Attaboy.
What were you
You
paying
know how
for
much money
gas?
people were making?
Like Izzy had like a wax mustache.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If I would always buy donuts off of them.
So Krispy Kreme is actually from my hometown.
Really?
Yes, it is. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, birthplace of Krispy Kreme. So all of our like school events were always
And
like
Chris
catered by Krispy Kreme.
Are you over them at this point?
I am not over them, but there was a point where my town was top 10 in obesity. And
Hold
we're
on.
like, I
Krispy
wonder if
Kreme-
there's a-
Coincidence.
I wonder if there's a correlation.
Cigarettes
there.
and donuts.
Cigarettes, donuts, and I think also Texas Pete hot sauce.
Okay. Well, anyways, so the point is this. If you go to like a Publix, you buy the prepackaged things, you pay like $10 or something for 6 or like $9 for 6, right? Which is crazy because, again, 54 cents maximum
Yes.
is what a donut should cost in this
You
country.
maximum.
Then I go to Walmart and they have a little box of 6. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this box of 6. It's going to be cheaper. So I put in the 6. I go to scan it, $12. They still charge me $2 per donut. They just had a convenient box. What do you mean impossible?
I would
happens.
take it back. I would leave it there.
I would absolutely not buy it.
I would
I'm not
scan
big
it,
on
look at it, and be like,
leaving
nah,
things
see
at the
ya.
register. I can't do it. I used to work in retail. I can't just leave things unaccounted for.
For
Like if I see
$12
something,
donuts?
if I see something that I've even like if I go to like a fitting room. And let me tell you something. When I worked in retail, go backs my favorite activity. When the when the store was closed, I just go and I just take things back because you just get a bag full of clothes and like you're just talking to people the whole time, putting it back, you straighten out the hangers. You take your time. You know what time you're gonna leave. You're like, I'm gonna have this take as long as I need it to take.
I like this. This is like an end of the shift activity, is what you're saying?
Yeah, go backs. You have to. There's like so. I was a cashier. Well, I wore many hats at Victoria's Secret, but I sometimes was a stock boy. I then was a cashier. But like I'd like to do go backs sometimes if I like the people that I worked with because I could just kind of pace myself and I could go in and talk to them and then the manager would be like, Billy, where are you on the walkie-talkie? And I'm like, doing go backs, and they're like, you've been doing go backs for an hour and a half. Like we want to go home, and I'm like, well. Panties aren't going to put themselves away.
I'm the worst with that at grocery stores. If I have something in my cart and I decide that I don't need that anymore, that is going wherever I'm at.
I know.
Oh, this banana, this is going aisle 7.
No,
Chris,
you're the worst person on
Chris,
earth.
we know.
See ya. You're a
We
human
know you're
nightmare.
not putting shit back at
No.
the grocery store.
Oh, like you guys are walking all the way back.
If
to
I
the
try things on at a store and they're like, did it not fit? I'm like, I'll say yes, and then I'll go put it back anyways. I'm like, yeah, no, it was great. I think I'm gonna take it, and I put it back.
But then you're depriving someone of the best time of the entire day.
Right.
Yeah, but I took inventory. I don't want to say that I'm judging the people, but I see them. I'm like, this is a person that doesn't want to be here later today, putting things back. I'm gonna give them a night off.
So you're judging a book by its cover.
Exactly right, but in a positive way, a good way. What were we talking about? Hot dogs?
No, we were talking about the WNBA All-Star game.
Oh yeah.
The teams have been announced. The top 2 vote getters are, just tells me, rookies. Do we know?
No, the top 2 vote getters were Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, I think, was the second.
Teammates.
And then Asia Wilson. The thing that was confusing, so like I tried to vote for, or I think I did vote for an all-star team. And I just pick all Notre Dame players. That's like the only thing I do. I'm like Skylar Diggins 10 times.
Yeah.
Didn't vote enough because she didn't make it. But you could vote for players that were already on Team USA, even though they were already going to be at All-Star, because it's Team USA versus the WNBA All-Stars. So that's very confusing, because then I assume that people voted for, or didn't vote for people that made the Team USA team because they already knew they were going to be there. I don't understand how any of that works.
This is a little confusing, yes. Why wouldn't they just take off those names from the ballot?
I don't know. I don't know if there's like a financial incentive to being like a top voter. I don't know how any of that works.
But if there is, I would complain about, there's a financial incentive. Everyone already knows I'm going to be there. So what if all the people who would have voted for me otherwise won't vote for me? I'd have a problem with that.
I don't understand how and the voting isn't even like the end all be all. There's like 50% of it is the fan vote, and then like other people decide. Who
media and players.
Right.
Yes.
But Caitlin Clark received the most votes. She received like 700,000 votes.
And that's a win for the WNBA that she did not make the Olympic team, because now she gets to headline the All-Star game, which is more eyes.
And the headline All-Star game playing against the Olympic team. So you get the rare snub that gets to do something about it directly.
I honestly think the biggest selling point isn't even that. It's the fact that Caitlin and Angel are now going to be playing for the same team. And that's never happened before, even in the AAU circuit or USA Basketball back when they were, teenagers. It's going to be something that people care probably way too much about in a bad way.
Do you think they're going to do the thing where, like, we got to show the world that we don't have any problems with one another? And so they're going to be over the top, like, oh, good one, and joking around and stuff?
She only passed it to Angel 4 times.
Definitely.
I feel like they kind of do go out of their ways to be like, we don't hate each other. Like, this whole rivalry is a media construct, which I feel like a lot of rivalries are, because I remember like when I was growing up and I thought like, oh man, like Notre Dame, this is just an example personally, like Notre Dame football players, they really hate like those USC players. And then I went to college and was like friends with a bunch of football players, and they were like, yeah, it's a big rivalry, but like, we're cool with them, it's fine.
Can I check in on?
That's just a thing that I think all fans kind of like. Some rivalries, some rivals I think do hate each other, like truly, but for the most part it's like, no, you respect the other team and you just want to beat them.
I wish Juju were here for this too, because I heard him say yesterday that he watches every WNBA game, which he does. I do not believe.
I believe it.
And NBA game.
And NBA game. Can we check in on how we think the game is being talked about right now? Because something happened to me yesterday while I was watching. It kind of made me switch the channel, because Kelsey Mitchell fouled Kelsey Plum, and then the announcer just said that those are 2 of the greatest scorers the game has ever seen, or in the history of the game.
In the history of Kelsey's.
And then they kept talking about it, and then said, well, they were in this place until Caitlin passed them last year. And I was like, oh, you're talking college basketball. That's an entirely different discussion to me than professional basketball, at least on the men's side. And so the idea that this, like the WNBA, feels like the way a lot of people talk about it, and I think this goes back to the GOAT discussion, because we never talk about GOATs when they're graduating college, right? It feels like the WNBA is like an extension of the NCAA for some people, because they're just know more about the NCAA and they're just getting to the WNBA. I'm confused by it.
I think that like maybe I heard the same thing, and I've seen like different comparisons where they're like taking into account people's college careers like into the pros and giving it like a lot of weight, which I think is kind of trying to help maybe some of the new fans that are just now starting to watch because they were fans of the college game. And I think maybe that's where some of like the bleed over is coming, because you're right. I think in like if I ever watched an NBA game and they were saying like these are the best scorers in like the history of the game, and they were the best scorers in men's college basketball, I probably don't even know who those people are, honestly.
And I looked up yesterday the top, 13 scorers in men's NCAA history. Number 1, Pete Maravich. There's a couple names on there that are recognizable. Oscar Robertson, Hersey Hawkins.
By the way, I only know Pistol Pete's on that list because Caitlin Clark recently broke his record, and people got in a bunch of arguments about the three-point line.
The one current player on that list, Doug McDermott.
Iowa.
If anybody would have said Creighton.
No, I mean, he's from Iowa. He's from Ames.
If anybody would have said in his rookie year or in his second year, one of the greatest scorers in the history of the game without specifying college, people would have gone nuts. Like, what are you talking about? He just got to the league. We don't know if he can score with these people. And it's the same thing with WNBA rookies or young players. We don't know if they can score with these women yet. Give it some time. And so it feels like it's just more of the conflating stuff that I find confusing. And I just think it's unfair to, this is probably why some of the vets are upset. It's just like, wait a second. I'm actually one of the greatest scorers in the history of the game because I got a 10-year professional career behind me.
I saw they were like comparing Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson's stats. So like on the one hand you have Caitlin Clark, who's by far like I think the best passer on the Fever by far, and like is shooting long threes in every game. But A'ja Wilson's averaging like 26 points per game, and I think like 11 rebounds or something like that. And Caitlin's averaging like I think 16 points per game and maybe like 6 or 7 assists and maybe 3 rebounds. I'm not sure. 5 rebounds. So thank you, Lucy. So I think it's like a little unfair to even like set them up because you're comparing like a rookie who's very, very good. Not saying that she's not great, obviously, but A'ja Wilson is like really on another planet. Like she's having an insane season. She might break the record for the highest points average of any player in WNBA history this year.
And this isn't a knock on any one person, one announcer, one analyst. I just feel like it's kind of all kind of happening that way. It's just kind of lumped in together, except when I hear, certain conversations like some here on this show.
Ooh.
Are we doing a good job?
That's
yeah. I mean, look, Juju. I mean, you guys know what you're talking about. It is what it is. It's obvious, and not to say that the announcers that are calling the game don't know what they're talking about. It's just about how we're talking about the game, how we're introducing it to new people. Perhaps shouldn't we? If they already know the young players who are bringing their eyes there, then tell them about the other people who have already been here and say, hey, these are also great players who have done these amazing things, and maybe we get that balance that we're looking for.
I do think it's probably to like maybe give like a little bit of credit to the people calling the games. It probably is hard because they want to make sure that the people tuning in for the first time get what they're coming for, which is like Caitlin Clark and like the Fever and like the things that they're like. The Fever have obviously become very popular this season. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell also received a ton of All-Star votes. They were All-Stars last year, and Aaliyah Boston was Rookie of the Year. But like the amount of people voting on the All-Star game like quadrupled, I think, since last year.
Who was the player that? Sorry to interrupt. Who was the player that Caitlin dropped? She missed the shot. But she dropped somebody?
I think it was Rebecca Allen on the Mercury. Yeah. I'm not sure. It was on Sunday, right?
I got the chills when I heard that call, and it was my guy, Mark Jones, saying he dropped her like a diss track. Yeah. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, WNBA, for giving me that moment. Because if she would have made the shot, it would have been an all-timer.
Crazy.
Gotta hit the J.
People would have gone insane. But I do think like the announcers are trying to strike the balance of like, we know there's like new fans here that want to hear about Caitlin Clark and all of the things that comes along with that. But at the same time, like, yeah, the Fever are not one of the best teams in the league. They are playing a lot better, but the Aces are still like far and away much better than the Fever and have much better overall talent and are just playing at a different level right now.
Back in my day, Tony, what they used to call it, $1 million move?
10-cent shot.
10-cent finish. That's how we used to do things back in my day.
I think there's also a pressure probably coming from their networks and their employers, where it's kind of like how we always see First Take talking about the Cowboys. It's because there are ratings that follow it. They're probably saying, hey, you need to talk about Caitlin. We need to have Caitlin segments in Sports Center, and they need to be kind of the focus of the halftime show. I'm sure it's coming from.
I don't have a problem with that. Just specify. Just say college. Just say one of the greatest college scores ever, and now transferring that into the NBA.
And also, to be clear, when you're the announcer calling the game, like in a studio show, yes, we have a limited number of topics, and what we talk about is what's on the screen. I'm calling the game. Caitlin Clark's in the game. I don't have to talk about her. Right. If people are like, oh, you keep Caitlin Clark, she's right there. See it? Right there, run up, yep, now she's running back. I could talk about whatever. So the idea that even the commentary has to be in this weird kind of prism is sort of silly and ridiculous. Also, I looked up the top scorers in women's college basketball history. 10 of the 13 have played like in the last 15 years.
And 3 of them were on the court last night.
Salute.
Happy birthday, America.